Research with me. Today we will be looking into Operation Blackout, what it is and how it is connected to the 2020 election. So get ready to take a dive in and come research with me when you can't be asked. This is Perfectly Faded Delusions. Welcome back to Perfectly Faded Research Drops. Come research with me. Today we are going to be continuing to research Operation Blackout, where we will be finishing looking into cyber reason and working our way through this paragraph here. Firstly, we are going to be looking into the CIA. So let's get started. Maybe go through the whole document, and then afterwards we are going to go and do all the links, some of the important phrases or words that look a bit and then we'll go on to these here, I think, as well. So this is probably going to be a very long video, so come read with me. Okay, CIA. The Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA, is a US intelligence agency. It was signed into law by US President Truman in 1947 by the National Security Act as a successor to the Office of Strategic Services. Wow, okay, try saying that 5 times fast. It rapidly expanded outside its information gathering brief to include covert action and black ops. By providing funding and organization, it proved a vital step in the development of the modern US deep state, especially up to the mid-70s. Okay, so it has a motto: the work of a nation, the center of intelligence. Okay. Predecessor, Office of Strategic Services. It started in 1947. It's US. The headquarters are in Langley, Fairfax County, Virginia, US. Leader is Director of the CIA Intelligence Agency, and it has quite a few subgroups. So we have Operation 40, National Clandestine Services, National Resources Division, Directorate of Intelligence, Directorate of Digital Innovation, Directorate of Operations, Directorate of Science and Technology, Directorate of Support, CIA/Executive Office, International Organizations Division, Bin Laden Issue Station, Entertainment Industry Liaison. Oh, that's going to be a good one to look at later. Special Collections Service, Special Activities Center, and it has 21,575 staff. Interests: black sites. Interest of Alan Constantine, Counter-Spy, Covert Action Quarterly, Thomas Farmer, Alan Frankovich, Rebecca Gordon, Ronald Kessler, Angus Mackenzie, Geoffrey Morley, John Potash, Peter Dale Scott, Scott Shane, the Deep State blog, Joseph Trento, Douglas Valentine, and John Young. Okay. Members of United States Intelligence Community, founder of Brewster and Jennings and Associates Congress for Cultural Freedom, Western Global Airlines, exposed by Philip Agee, David McMichael, Victor Marchetti, Frank Snepp, John Stockwell, and then we have subpages here. I'll leave that up for a second because I am not know that this is a long thing. So the most high profile of the US intelligence agency, a covert agent of foreign policy funded by a black budget derived from the global drug trade. The CIA is experienced at assassination, blackmail, instigating coups, and other such covert deep state actions. Its scrutiny in the early 1970s, however, led to the development of more secure bases for the most sensitive deep state operations. Okay, so now we're going to start from, I did read that, didn't I? Yes, I did. Right, so an official narrative. The name of the CIA is suggestive of its original brief.
It's 2013.
Thank you. As a central point of information gathering, it was derived out of problems of information collection in World War II and replaced the Office of Strategic Services. Okay. Problems. The CIA rapidly became a covert agent of foreign policy, for example, engineering the overthrow of governments in Iran and Guatemala. I'm probably saying that wrong. I've butchered that, haven't I? Let's have a little looky and listen and see.
Guatemala.
Yeah, I was right. For the sake of what was loosely referred to as the national interest, but was fairly transparently the profits of US corporations, the Seven Sisters and the United Fruits Company respectively. Lacking any effective government oversight, the CIA became the basis for what Mark Gorton calls the cabal. After Lynn Lemitzer, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, presented him with Operation Northwoods, a false flag attack which planned multiple murderous attacks on US citizens. JFK, or John F. Kennedy, can have been under few illusions about the Machiavellian nature of the CIA, and reportedly stated that he wished to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it into the winds, although it needs a citation there. Okay. In fact, the CIA's assassination team played a large role in the JFK assassination, including silencing voices who refused to go along with its cover-up, cement the power of the cabal which had. It has instigated dozens of covert regime change actions. Later, Attempts to rein in the CIA failed, but were effective at making its locus of operations more international and therefore harder to detect under the limited resources available to the US government. Okay, history. The CIA was created by the US deep state to increase the convenience, legitimacy, and plausible deniability for its supranational operations. It quickly exceeded its official mandate and flouted restrictions in its scope of operations. Roscoe H. Hilling something. We are gonna have to learn this new word.
Roscoe H. Hillenkotter.
Hillenkotter, the first director of Central Intelligence, authorized the agency to carry out covert actions in Italy in 1947 to try to hinder the Italian communists in the elections that year. A year later, another directive, NSC 10-2/2, authorized it to carry out covert actions anywhere in the world, specifically including propaganda, economic warfare, preventative direct action, including sabotage, anti-sabotage, demolition and evacuation measures, subversion against hostile states, including assistance to underground resistance movements, guerrillas and refugee liberation groups, and support of indigenous anti-communist element in the threatened countries of the free world. Hillenkotter's successor, Walter Bedell Smith, claimed that by 1951 the CIA covert ops had already far exceeded this. By 1953, the CIA had 7,200 people working on covert activities that took place 74% of the CIA's yearly budget. Wow. So was the other 36% on coffee? Because I'm sure they would need a lot of coffee. I'm joking. 1970s offshoring of the deep state. After some high-profile assassinations during the 60s, the CIA came under scrutiny from committee groups such as the House Select Committee on Assassinations and Church Committee in the early 70s. This created a problem for the deep state, which subsequently offshored its most sensitive operations to more secure bases such as the Safari Club. In 1976, lifelong spook George H.W. Bush made himself director, supposedly as an outsider, and within a year was effective at stopping most of the leaks from the agency. Okay, I'm going to take a little drink. That's better. Bush wielded this heightened power on behalf of the military-industrial complex that President Eisenhower had so famously warned against. Politicizing the process of intelligence analysis, he imposed a systematic bias that took a new, harder line towards the communist bloc. This was a direct reversal of the Nixon-Kissinger policy of detonate. Why are you not hiding? Go away. What are you doing? Okay. Detonate. Under the guidance of the Rumsfeld-Cheney, a young Paul Wolfowitz and others who had ascended in the Halloween massacre, Poppy began finding ways to get around the analysis who did not sufficiently hype the Soviet threat. To that end, he created a second analytical team which produced alarming estimates of Soviet military capacity. The concept was known as Team A, Team B. In this way, Poppy was the father of the analytical gamemanship his son would use to justify war with Iraq nearly 3 decades later, under the guidance of the same Rumsfeld, Cheney and Wolfowitz. Okay. 2004 restructuring. Following passage of the Intelligence Reform and Terrorist Prevention Act of 2004, the Director of Central Intelligence was placed as head of the U.S. intelligence community by a Director of National Intelligence outside the CIA. The real reasons for this are unclear. The CIA structure is fairly regularly reorganized. Okay. And we will look into that, so don't worry about that. But there's this lovely picture, and we'll have a quick look at it while we're here. No, that's too small. Yes. Okay. We like big. Okay. So you have CIA Executive Office, and then you've got all these lovely people here, and yeah. I think we will look into that when we go through it, so don't worry. Activities. The CIA is subject to nominal supervision, so CIA officers are rarely disciplined, and that needs a citation. Okay. Arms dealing, and we'll look into that. The combination of its ready access to armaments and its contact with groups that seek weapons has CIA personnel have a natural interest in brokering arms deals. On many occasions, these remain undiscovered. If they are publicized and found to be illegal, such as in the Arms for Libya megadeal, they are portrayed as the work of rogue operatives. Arms dealers are often combined with drug traffickers, as in the case of Iran-Contra, which moved drugs into USA while moving US manufactured weapons south. Okay. I love this Lego picture here. It's really cute. It's a bigger one. CIA. It's meant to be a pilot or a CIA person in a plane. That is awesome. Okay. No article on the CIA would be complete without mention of the illegal drug trade, which at least since the Vietnam War has been the source of a large slice of the CIA's black budget. This was not public knowledge until Gary Webb published the Dark Alliance series of tightly argued and extensively referenced articles in the mid-90s. These provided very detailed evidence that the CIA was complicit in importing illegal drugs into the USA, as did corroborating evidence by other whistleblowers such as Mike Ruppert submitted evidence, but his allegations are not known to have been followed up. Typical, it's kind of like when you work in an office and things are never followed up and remain unanswered by the CIA or other authorities such as the DEA officially tasked with investigating them. Okay. Sorry about that, I was taking a drink. Extraordinary rendition. Especially since 2001, the CIA has moved prisoners across international borders covertly, especially by plane, between so-called black spot sites, where they are subjected to torture. This avoids the legal hassle of formal extradition, maintains secrecy and plausible deniability. For example, their murder becomes public knowledge. At least 2 planes used by the CIA for such flights have later been discovered bringing tons of cocaine into the US. That isn't... I love Lego. Okay, torture. The CIA has made extensive use of torture and continues to do so with impunity. As of July 2016, the only CIA officer to have been disciplined for this was John... Sorry, I just don't want to butcher names.
John Curacao,
a whistleblower. The torture report by the US Senate released in December 2014 was the tip of the iceberg, but proved that after 9/11 the CIA engaged in a sophisticated state-sanctioned torture program, tried to cover this up and lied about it. An ACLU lawsuit in this regard was settled out of court in 2017. Okay. CIA officers' psychology. Douglas Valentine, who interviewed over 100 CIA officers, wrote that most of them think of themselves as soldiers, and that the CIA is set up like a military organization with a sacred chain of command. Somebody tells you what to do and you salute and do it. Robin Ramsey remarks about Plum Wilson's autobiography, Fair Game, that two things struck him. The first is the absolute political innocence of even comparatively senior CIA officers like Plum Wilson. About the reality of US foreign policy, she has no idea. And I will get these books. We'll get these books, and so you can read them. The second was her comment that within the CIA, most of the officers had their TVs turned to Murdoch's Fox channel, self-programming, their equivalent of praying 5 times a day to Mecca. He believes that William Kobe was not being ironic when he entitled his autobiography Honourable Men, and explains that's how that generation saw themselves, good men fighting a dirty but necessary war. Okay, let's go on this table. Events carried out. Okay, 1980, Camara air crash, Portugal, Camara, Lisbon. A covert assassination of Adelino Amaro da Costa to cover up the October surprise conspiracy. 1993, World Trade Center bombing, New York. A bomb attack on the World Trade Center, which several authorities have suggested was not a surprise to the FBI. A confidential CIA internal survey reportedly concluded that it was partly culpable. Arms for Libya. Around 20 tons of C4 plastic explosive, training in bomb making, together with thousands of rifles, handguns, and other weapons sold by a CIA operative to Gaddafi's Libya in the late 1970s, early 1980s, then the biggest arms stealing case in US history, still lacking its own page on Wikipedia as of 2020. They're not going to write. I have my own suspicions about Wikipedia, but when got nothing to do with here. Bolivia, 1980 coup d'etat. CIA operation in Angola. Chile, 1973 coup d'etat. Cubana de aviación flight. Know what you do when you can't say something? You get Mr. Speech on it. That's what I do.
Cubana de Aviación Flight 455.
Thank you. Guatemala, 1954, coup d'etat. Guatemala. A coup organized by the CIA to protect the profit of United Fruit. Iran, 1953. Coup d'etat. Iran. The first of many large-scale coups was carried out at the behest of Big Oil by the determinist firm West Action Inc. Persia that had produced successful results. Operation Crevice, London. A raid launched in the UK on the so-called fertilizer bomb plotters. Operation Demagnetize. The institutional hardening of Gladio. An expansion of Gladio in the late 1940s, early 1950s. Operation Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird is a CIA covert operation that began in 1950s and is a continuing manipulation and control of the media by the CIA. Operation Mongoose. A long-term effort to remove Fidel Castro from power in Cuba. Which brings me to something, and I know this has got nothing to do with, but why haven't the CIA ever tried to get rid of, like, the African, like, war lords and people like that? Just seems really like if they could, and then put a good person, but then if they're just as bad, and then yeah, they're not going to do that, are they? Because they're going to sell arms to them. Yeah, anyway, sorry, that was just me going on a ramble. Orlando Letelier assassination, Washington, D.C. Project Artichoke. An investigation into interrogation methods using drugs and other methods. Can we get control of an individual to the point where he will do our willing bidding against his will and even against fundamental law of nature, such as self-preservation? Project Fubelt. Project MK Chickwit. An illegal mind control research program. Project MK Delta. A CIA mind control research project. Project MK Ultra. An illegal mind control research program. Project Monarch. Experimentation research linked to and derived from MK Ultra. Okay, so here are the documents by CIA. Okay, so we have document research paper SW910076X, intelligence summary, research paper, November 1991, Arms to Iraq, Gerald Ball assassination. Transcription of the unredacted intelligence summary, pages 22 to 26 of CIA research paper SW910076X, titled Project Babylon, which names 2 ex-SAS soldiers as having been contracted to eliminate Gerald Ball. Okay. Document Countering Criticism of the Warren Report. Memo 19th of July 1968. Conspiracy Theory, Conspiracy Theorist, Warren Commission. An explanation of how the CIA added pejorative connotations to the phrase conspiracy theory. The document instructs spooks in the use of propaganda assets in the commercially controlled media to undercut any criticism of the JFK assassination official narrative, especially suggestions that Oswald may not have been the lone nut, as the Warren Commission claimed. Okay. File CIA Research Paper SW91-100076 Research Paper November 1991. Same as the other one. Redacted CIA Research Paper, as said, entitled Project Babylon, as it appeared on the CIA website in July 2012. Okay. Same document, research paper, same date, same people, same, apart from it's added as before, ex-SAS soldiers are having been contracted to eliminate Gerald Ford. File CIA Research Paper the same. Unredacted Research Paper November 1991. Unredacted CIA Paper SW91-10076X, entitled Project Babylon, the Iraq Supergun, pages 1 to 21. Okay, and now we're going to have related quotations. Black site. The US does not torture. I have not authorized it, and I will not. George W. Bush, 2005. Well done. George Carlin, the comedian. Smug, greedy, well-fed white people have invented a language
21 hours.
Thank you. To conceal their sins. It's as simple as that. The CIA doesn't kill anybody anymore. They neutralize people, or they depopulate the area. The government doesn't lie. It engages in disinformation. The Pentagon actually measures nuclear radiation in something they call sunshine units. Israeli murderers are called commandos. Arab commandos are called terrorists. Contra killers are called freedom fighters. Well, if crime fighters fight crime and firefighters fight fires, what do freedom fighters fight? Good question, George. Rest in peace, brother. Okay, document. Is Martin McGuinness a British agent? Indeed, in 1991, journalist Richard Norton Taylor revealed the existence of a list of something like 500 prominent Britons, including around 90 in the media, who were in the employ of the CIA and paid through the old friend of the intelligence services, the BCCI. And that was the 5th of May 2005. Eyewash. Federal law makes it a criminal offence when a government employee conceals, covers up, falsifies or makes a false entry in an official record. Legal experts said they knew of no special exemption for the CIA, nor any attempt to prosecute agency officials for alleged violations. The CIA declined to comment, and that was the 31st of January 2016, and we have no idea who said that. Craig Murray. The naive view of the world as goodies and baddies, with our own ruling class as the good guys, is for the birds. I witnessed personally in Uzbekistan, the willingness of the UK and US security services to accept and validate intelligence they knew to be false in order to pursue their policy objectives. 13th of March 2018. Operation Mockingbird. There is quite an incredible spread of relationships. You don't need to manipulate Time magazine, for example, because there are Central Intelligence Agency people at the management level. Carl Bernstein. Panama Papers. The CIA, I'm sure, is behind this, in my opinion. There's something seriously sinister here behind this. The Panama Papers. Brad Birkenfeld, 12th of April 2016. Plausible deniability. Everyone is trying to create a disjuncture between the initial order and the operation. Scott Noble, 7th of July 2014. Plausible deniability. The CIA doesn't do anything it can't deny. Tom Donahue, a retired CIA officer, told me about this. Douglas Valentine, 9th of September 2017. Mike Pompeo. I was a cadet. What's the cadet motto at West Point? You will not lie, cheat or steal or tolerate those who do. I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. We had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment. Mike Pompeo. April 2019. Harry S. Truman, who as above, created the CIA. For some time, I have been disturbed by the way the CIA has been diverted from its original assignment. It has become an operational and at times a policy-making arm of the government. I never had any thought that when I set up the CIA that it would be injected into peacetime cloak and dagger operations. Underwear bombing. What I saw specifically was the two men go to the ticket agent counter together. Only the Indian man spoke, and what the Indian man said was this man needs to board the plane, and he doesn't have a passport. And the ticket agent then responded, well, you need a passport to board the plane. And the Indian man said, well, he's from Sudan, and we do this all the time. Okay. Events planned. Australia, 1975, coup d'etat. Australia, Canberra. A UK-US deep state-backed covert constitutional coup to remove Gal Whitlam, whom they saw as a loose cannon. Operation Midnight Climax. New York, Semantic Objects. San Francisco, Marin. A freewheeling illicit criminal CIA project which filmed the effects of prostitutes dosing up victims with drugs such as LSD. Project MK Naomi. MK Delta focused on including biological warfare agents to restore and diffuse materials that could either incapacitate or kill a test subject. Thomas Merton assassination. Thailand, Bangkok. Okay. And these are related, and then I think we are done. Yeah. Okay, so document Cuba 1959 to 1980s. Book extract William Blum 2003. Document A Brief History of the CIA's Dirty Work in South Sudan. Article 31st of July 2019. Brian Dawson. The CIA are now almost completely out of the picture in South Sudan, though one should never underestimate the agency's capacity for evil. It's in the US national interest to deny China access to African oil, so it will always continue to be US versus China in South Sudan, as part of Pax America's designs for Africa as a whole. Okay. Abolish Terrorist Agencies. Essay 29th of July 2019. David Swanson. Swanson characterizes Annie Jacobson's surprise kill vanish as an apology for intelligence agencies. He deconstructs the official narrative of defending democracy, claiming that they have decades of engaging in and provoking terrorism, citing blowback from their operations as major factors in the growth of the MICC and its climate paranoia and permanent war. He calls for the end to the intelligence agencies. Sorry, I had to have another drink now. Document CIA Killing spell defeat in Afghanistan. Article 8th January 2010. Douglas Valentine. Document CIA planned coup. Article 2nd of September 1963. And I am not going to be able to pronounce that.
Golden NHU.
Thank you. Document CIA wanted to kill Lockerbie bomber before trial. Article 5th July 2013. Gareth Rose, Bob Smith. A report of William C. Chasey's allegation after being diagnosed with incurable cancer that CIA agents tried to convince him to plant homing devices on McGarry and Fimar as part of the plot to assassinate them before the Lockerbie trial. Okay. Document CIA MI6 Intel Ops and Sabotage. Oh, sabotage! Sorry. I always think when I see Sabotage, the Beastie Boys song. Article 7 February 2012. Felicity Arbuthnot. Okay. In 1957, joint plans by CIA and MI6 to destabilize Syria by means of staged border incidents and special forces assassinations of key political figures were approved by UK PM head Harold Macmillan and US President Eisenhower. Document Counterintelligence Spying Deters Democracy. Interview 7th of July 2014. Scott Noble, Kim Peterson. Covert action in Chile. 1963 to 1973. Report 1976. Church Committee. A Church Committee report of the hearings before them to study governmental operations with respect to intelligence agencies of the United States Senate, a very thorough but lengthy investigation into CIA activity in Chile, including numerous instances of media manipulation and propaganda in the millions of dollars. Well, they're still doing it. Document Ecuador, 1960 to 1963. Book extract. 2003. William Blum. Document Ed Wilson's Revenge Report, January 2000. Michael Ruppert. An example of how plausible deniability worked for the CIA. The third most senior CIA official produces an affidavit that they had had no dealings with Edwin Wilson since 1971. Although legions of insiders knew this was a lie, the court accepted it. Finally exposed as a lie almost 20 years later, all those who lied in court are given immunity. Okay. False flags for Israel. Web page. 11th of September 2012. Diana Spingola. An overall of Israel's long history of false flag attacks. Document 50 Years of the Deep State. Book 22 November 2013. Mark Wharton. A detailed overview of the modern US deep state, which names the most prominent of which George H. W. Bush is exposed as the kingpin of the US deep state and probably a key mover behind the 9/11 plot. Document George Bush and the CIA in the Company of Friends. Article 1992. Anthony Kimmery. An overview of Bush's CIA work and related business activities. Document Guatemala, 1962 to 1980. Book extract. William Blum. Document How CIA money took the teeth out of socialism. Book extract. May 1988. Richard Fletcher. Document Is oil behind Washington's Venezuela coup madness? Article 3rd of February 2019. William Edgar. Leaving aside whether or not Maduro is a saint, the decision by President Trump to back the Bolton-Pence call for a U.S. intervention in Venezuela may prove a fatal error for the Trump presidency. Okay. Julian Assange, tortured with psychotropic drugs. Article 8th of May 2019. Kurt Nimmo. The FBI, Pentagon, and CIA are interviewing Julian Assange in Belmarsh Prison. The CIA Director, Gina Haspel, aka Chemical Gina, has her hands in this one. And we are being told that Assange is being treated with BZ, a powerful drug that produces hallucinations. Okay, document limit CIA role to intelligence. Letter 21st of December 1963. Harry S. Truman. A letter just after the assassination of JFK, which was published once and then vanished down the memory hole. Oh, I bet. Document. Masters of Persuasion. Article. 2005. David Guyette. Document. Operation Twofold. Article. 25th of December 2008. Douglas Valentine. Document. The CIA and Mountbatten. Article. Stephen Durrell. Document. The Occupus. Article. 1999. David Guyette. An introduction to the involvement of senior U.S. politicians, bureaucrats, and the CIA in globalized criminal activities, the investigation of which cost investigative reported Danny Casolara his life. Document. The Rise of the National Security State. Article. 21st of February 2012. Mark Gaffney. Document. The Shadow Factory. Book. 2008. James Bamford. The workings and scope of the U.S. military intelligence complex, focusing particularly on the NSA introduction. Document. The Taking of America 1, 2, 3. Book. Richard E. Sprague. An authoritative description of the JFK assassination and succeeding crimes from the photographic expert advisor to Jim Garrison. Their will be done. Article. 1st of August 1983. Martin A. Lee. How the CIA targets powerful hierarchies for infiltration and influence. The Roman Catholic Church, which is claimed to be the one and only authentic Church of Christ on earth, does not exempt them from exploitation by deep politicians. This article powerfully demonstrates both the Catholic Church's power and its susceptibility to the machinations of mammon. As they say in South America, when the CIA goes to the church, it doesn't go to pray. Document. Torture, assassination, and the American Way of Life. Commentary. 17th of February 2012. Jacob G. Hornberger. Uruguay. 1964 to 1970. Book extract. 2003. William Blum. Whitehall Farce. Book review. 12 of October 1989. Paul Foote. James Rossbridger. Secretary turns otherwise rational people into fascistic nutters. Secrecy allows untold billions of pounds and endless energies to be wasted in unnecessary intelligence. Secrecy pollutes the political process, muzzles what is left of the independent press, and makes a mockery of Parliament and elections. Pardon, so true. Document. WikiLeaks and the mighty WhatsApp. Article. 7th August 2010. Zahir Abraham, an in-depth discussion of how dissident organizations are co-opted and or otherwise used, abused, controlled, or discredited and destroyed by the Secret Information Services. Wirt Walker, Russell and Co., CIA and 9/11 article, 3rd of September 2010. Kevin Ryan, CIA, Shannon Report, 9209, Report, February 2008. Edward Horgan, Gestapo Chief, the CIA and Heinrich Müller, 1998. Book, 1998. Gregory Douglas. File, the CIA, Western Europe and the Abuse of Human Rights. Paper, October 2006. Daniel Ganza. A paper addressing assertions from the U.S. State Department, U.S. Field Manual FM30-31B was a Soviet forgery. File, the Secret Team. Book, 1973. Fletcher Prouty. An unauthorized history of the CIA from its origins to the Kennedy assassination. Prouty suggested that the assassination was a coup d'etat to stop the president from taking control of the CIA after the Bay of Big Pigs disaster. He also points out that the movement of Kennedy after a bullet struck his head was consistent with a shot from the grassy knoll. He also drew attention to the suspicious actions of the Umbrella Man. Ooh, okay. Document, Indonesia. Book extract, 2003. William Blum. On Company Business. Film, 1980. Alan Frankovich. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, but the next time I'm on here, next video is going to be concentrating on all the little things and links that are really kind of interesting, and hopefully we'll find some good stuff. So I'm going to say bye for now, but I'll see you in the next video. Faded Delusions again, and how are my fellow researchers doing out there? Okay, so I'm going to be looking through the Power Base article and the Source Watch. I'm sorry, I meant we are. So we are going to be looking through these articles. We're gonna go through the Power Base one first, just because it was first, and then we shall go on to Source Watch. So strap yourselves in, because this is going to be a whole lot of fun. Okay. Central Intelligence Agency. The Central Intelligence Agency is the US government overseas intelligence agency. History. War on Terror. Detention and rendition. Following the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001, the CIA began a secret detention program under which suspected terrorists were held in prison or black sites outside the United States, where they were subjected to enhanced interrogation techniques involving torture and other abuse. The CIA also began a secret program of extraordinary rendition, transferring detainees to other governments without legal process for detention and interrogation. People, directors of the Central Intelligence. Okay. So Sidney Sowers, I think that's his name. Sowers was a director in 1946. Hoyt Sanford Vandenberg, that's a mouthful, was director between 1946 and 1947. Roscoe Henry Hilling, I'm gonna have to.
Roscoe Henry Hillencoulter.
1947 to 1950. Walter Bedell Smith, 1950 to 1953. So they served 3 years, from what I can tell. Okay. Alan Dulles, 1953 to 1961. So he served for 8 years. Bloody hell. Okay. John McCone, 1961 to 1965. William Francis Reborn Jr., 1965 to 1966. Okay. Richard Helms, 1966 to 1973. James I'm not even going to attempt that. Schlesinger, 1973. William Colby, 1973 to 1976. George Herbert Walker Bush, 1976 to 1977. Stansfield Turner. I used to be... Okay, I just so I get a little peace of mind on my end, because I know it's gonna...
Stansfield
Turner, yeah. 1977 to 1981. William Casey, 1981 to 1987. William H. Webster, 1987 to 1991. Robert Gates, 1991 to 1993. James Woolsey, 1993 to 1995. John M. Deutsch, Yep, I was right. 1995 to 1996. George Tenet, 1997 to 2004. Porter Goss, 2004 to 2005. Okay, Following passage of the Intelligence Reform and Terrorist Prevention Act of 2004, the Director of Central Intelligence was replaced as head of the U.S. intelligence community by a Director of National Intelligence outside the CIA. So, directors of the Central Intelligence Agency were Porter Goss, Michael Hayden, Leon E. Panetta, David Petraeus, John O'Brien. Okay. Deputy Directors: Kingman Douglas, Edwin Kennedy Wright, William Harding Jackson, Alan Dulles, Charles P. Cabell, Marshall Carter, Richard Helms, Rufus Taylor, Robert E. Cushman Jr., Vernon A. Walters, E. Henry Notch, John F. Belloc. Okay. I know I'm using this a lot, but some of the surnames are difficult to say. Bouquet. Frank Calusi, Bobby Ray Inman, John N. McMahon, Robert. By the way, Frank Calusi was 1978 to 1981. I think that's just repeating what was up there, though, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Richard J. Kerr, William O. Stoudman. He was 1992 to 1995. George Tennant, I think we did him. John A. Gordon, 1997 to 2000. John E. McLaughlin. Oh, God. McLaughlin. 2000 to 2004. Albert Colland, 2005 to 2006. Stephen Capez, 2006 to 2010. Michael J. Morrell, 2010 to 2013. Whistleblowers and former agents. Philip G., former CIA employee, 1957 to 1968, CIA critic and author of Inside the Company, CIA Diaries, 1975. I will see if I can find a digital version of that book, and then I shall put it in my filing cabinet below. Okay, Robert Burr, A.B. Buzzy Krongard. I really don't want to mess these names up. I was right. Okay. Yay! Mary O. McCarthy, Ralph Majihi, Victor Machetti, Lindsay Moran, David McMichael, 10-year U.S. Marine Corps vet and former CIA agency analyst, resigned from CIA in protest. Ray McGovern, retired CIA analyst who had been in charge of preparing daily security briefs for President Ronald Reagan, later a political activist and CIA critic. L. Fletcher Prouty, Frank Snapp, and John Stockwell. Okay. Structure. The CIA has 4 main components: the Doctorate of Intelligence, the National Clandestine Service, the Doctorate of Science and Technology, the Doctorate of Support. National Clandestine Service. The National Clandestine Service, like its predecessors, the Directorate of Plans 1952 to 1973 and the Directorate of Operations 1973 to 2005, is organized into a number of geographic divisions. Western Hemisphere Division, later the Latin American Division. Western Europe Division, later the European Division. Soviet East Europe Division, later the Central Eurasia Division. Near East and South Asia Division. Africa Division, originally the Far East Division, later the East Asia Division. Okay, and these are some resources that are on the page, which we'll probably look at in another video. So, CIA media operations in Chile, Jamaica, and I can't remember what that word is. Nicaragua. CIA operations in Angola, Congress for Cultural Freedom, Forum World Features, Forum News Service, Kern House Enterprises, and Operation Mockingbird. And then we have some external sources here and some nice notes. So that's awesome. We can have a little look at that later on. So I'm going to jump off of this and I shall see you in the next segment. Bye guys.